Welcome everybody to the second C Summit organized by Daphne and EVPA and made possible by our dear sponsors. We are delighted that you are all here, and of course we would have loved to welcome you in person, face to face. That is not possible, but I do believe that we have created a wonderful program for all of you. I'm going to tell you much more about the program in a moment, but before I do that, I would like to invite Roberta Bosurgi, the CEO of EVPA, for a few words of welcome. Roberta.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this C Summit 2020. We are more than 150 people connected this morning, and it's very exciting to welcome you to this couple of days, content-free and filled with exciting and very interesting session. I want to take the opportunity to welcome you and I really hope that you enjoy the opportunity to connect, to share, and to learn from each other. For those of you that are new to the C Summit, this is the event of the year for corporate social investor and purpose-driven business leaders, and really a unique opportunity to come together and reflect. We at the EVPA, we feel very honored and privileged to be able to offer this platform, this kind of safe place to step out your everyday business reality and reflect, bring the topics that are hot in your mind, connect and learn from each other. And we really hope that through the support of your peers, you can accelerate your journey towards social impact. And also, we hope that through events like this, we can shed a light on the amazing work that happens in this community and possibly inspire those organizations that just are the beginning of the journey. So I really hope that the program that we have designed provides you with enough opportunity to discuss and to interact despite being online and also network. And I hope you have lots of fun. So without further ado, I just want to turn over to Max. For those of you that don't know Max is the executive director of Daphne, our co-host today, and our partner in crime for the organization. And I'm sure he's as excited as I am to welcome you today. So Max, over to you.
Thank you very much, Roberta. I'm very happy to welcome all of you here today, also on behalf of Daphne and the Daphne members, in particular FIN, the Dutch Association of Foundations, as we were supposed to be in the Netherlands right now. The C Summit is titled Think Tomorrow, Today, a New Era of Collaboration. And this would not have been possible without our outstanding partners and supporters. I therefore would like to thank on behalf of EVPA and Daphne, in particular ENJ Netherlands Bonds and Philips Foundations. As hosts, we had a deep and fruitful collaboration when setting up this conference for all of you. I'd like to send special thanks to Kirsten and Margot for your enormous commitment in co-designing the program and taking difficult decisions together with us. Also, I'd like to thank Laudes Foundation and Trafigura Foundation as premium partners of the C Summit. And also, let me thank Sanofi Espoir Foundation, Schneider Electric Foundation, and JTI Foundation for their support, as well as Impact City The Hague, Tommy Cares, and Pioneers Post. In a live event, this would be the moment of a big round of applause. We are very grateful for your support for building this community of corporate foundations and social investors and making the outstanding EVPA research accessible to all of us. I wish you all a very fruitful and rich and inspiring event. Thank you.
Thank you very much for these wonderful words, Max. We will hear more from the ING and Philips Foundation also in the coming days in the sessions, but also I will speak with them tomorrow. So stay tuned. I promised to tell you a little bit more about the program. And for this, we have our lovely Sophie Forjour, who is the head of the corporate initiative development of EVPA, who will guide us. So please, Sophie, tell us, what are we going to do?
Thank you, Mariken. A warm welcome to all of you. Thanks for being with us. Delighted to be here. After this month of preparation, it's really magic to see so many known faces and new one as well. This year has been a challenging year in many aspects, and really, being the voice of a lively community, we really want to tell you that we've been remote, but certainly not apart, thriving to support you the best we could, and keeping online this year this C Summit. I think it's a good example of our commitment. The pandemic taught us that alone we cannot tackle the pressing societal challenge we face now. And more than ever, we need to build sustainable and scalable solutions for the long term. For this, we really need to be smart. And none of us is as smart as all of us. So we clearly see that the crisis is a catalyst to accelerate collaboration with different type of players profile, seeing each other's strength now. Investors for impact, with impact, public, private, classic philanthropists, and combining different type of financial instruments along the spectrum of capital. So it came very naturally that a new area collaboration had to be the thematic of our C Summit this year. It also explains why at EVPA we chose this year to explore the research topic of collective corporate impact strategies. In terms of program and format, we want the C Summit to be a space to learn, to connect, and to exchange. And with this aim, we set up a program which combines rich content, deep dive interaction moments, and networking as much as possible. So, what's up for today? We'll explore the various forms of collective corporate impact strategies inside the corporate organizations, while tomorrow we will discuss a more holistic approach, exploring how collaboration with different stakeholders of the ecosystem outside the company can help to build back better an impact-led recovery. So in a couple of minutes, we will listen to inspiring keynote speakers. Then we'll share our EVPA research finding on how to build a collective corporate impact strategy between multiple corporate social investors and their related company, all aligned in a
Moet je
common
even op de
vision.
chat zetten.
After a short break this morning, we'll showcase our research insights through 4 parallel content deep dive. And last but not least, in the afternoon, we'll meet you in the open space for some more interactive session with your peers. So, end of the day, don't miss the quick wrap up at 3 and enjoy the day. See you.
Thank you, everybody. I'm really pleased that I'm now able to announce the keynote panel session of today. And that will be on Think Tomorrow Today, moving towards a new era of collaboration in the corporate, social, investing and philanthropy space. And we will have this conversation together with Valérie Faillat from the Sanofi Espoir Foundation and with António Calçada from Repsol. So I'm really pleased to have these people here. Maybe I can start with Valérie. Valérie, are you there? Fantastic. Yeah, I can see you. Could you
Yes,
maybe
hi everyone.
introduce yourself briefly and tell me a little bit more about the foundation Sanofi Espoir?
So, hi everyone. I'm Valérie Faillat. I'm head of Sanofi Espoir Foundation. I'm a pharmacist by background,
and I worked for the company for 30 years and joined the Sanofi Espoir Foundation in 2017. The Sanofi Espoir Foundation is a corporate foundation. Its mission is to contribute reducing health inequalities, so in France, so internationally. We have, I would say, three main focus. The first one is maternal and newborn health, because it's one of the main markers of health inequalities. We are focusing as well on childhood cancer in low and middle income countries, because there is a huge inequality regarding the chains to be cured. And the third axis is regarding maintaining good health during extreme vulnerability situation, like for homeless people or displaced population, so humanitarian crisis, emergency.
Thank you so much. And maybe Antonio, could I maybe ask you the same question? Could you briefly introduce yourself? I understood that you have many hats within Repsol, but maybe you can briefly say a little bit about your long-standing experience and maybe introduce the large fund your foundation recently has set up.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much to you all for this invitation. Well, I'm an executive that I have been for more than 20 years working for Repsol. Before I have been working for another oil and an energy company, and I've been in charge along this more than 20 years in different parts of the world, leading different businesses and different organizations. And 1.5 years ago, I joined the Repsol Foundation as a general manager and vice president, and we are here pushing quite hard, and especially in these aspects and this angle of really putting things in operation, which is basically all my experience. So I feel very pleased to join this meeting today. Well, I'm chemical engineer and well, I have a couple of MBAs in Spain, in the Instituto de Empresa, and also in the MIT in Lausanne, Switzerland. And I'm pleased to stay here. So thank you very much to you all.
Thank you so much. This is really wonderful to have this wealth of experience and knowledge here in the room. So maybe I'm a bit wondering, the topic of the panel, the discussion or the conversation that we are having is also about the collaboration between the corporate and the foundation element of the work that you do. Could you maybe elaborate a little bit how the current crisis is affecting your work? So maybe elaborate a little bit on how this has impacted the work you do for the foundation and how it has influenced the collaboration with the company. I mean, Valérie, you are working in the health sphere. I can imagine that you had a huge impact on your daily work. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit on that. What are some insights or learnings?
Yes, so of course the needs were really huge during the crisis all over the world, I would say. And what was impactful for us was that we saw through the crisis the confirmation of some conviction that are not really put in place in the action regarding health. This is the fact that 80% of the outcomes in health are not linked to technical health, I would say really medicines and care, but is linked to what is called the social determinants. So housing, access to electricity, access to water, education, employment, the place of the woman in the society, etc. And what we can see with the crisis was this really huge interconnection between the different sustainable development goals, because we can refer to the sustainable development goals on that.
Yeah.
And for example, it's when the different countries applies for a lockdown, it's not possible to lock down when you are homeless people. So how to
Yeah.
do that? How to put in place the protection measures, like washing your hand when you have no access to water. So what we saw during the crisis is really this intersectorial connection, and you just
Yeah.
spoke about collective collaboration,
Yeah.
and this is clearly the demonstration that we need to collaborate. The second thing that we have seen was that the project that we are really able to continue and to have impact was a project with the which were really managed locally, and which really integrate people of the community. And this is really important because
Yeah.
this is the only way finally to have a sustainable action. And despite the crisis, some projects were able to have this sustainable action thanks to the community. So if I can just give an example,
Yeah.
in Mayotte, so it's a French island in the Indian Ocean, so it's close to Madagascar.
Yeah.
The social economical conditions are really poor there, and around 30% of the population has no access to running water in
Yeah.
housing. So well, I would say the public institution put in place some electronic payment fountain to have access to water. So, but during the lockdown, what's happened? The income of the family decreased, linked to the stop of the informal market, and so the people in this region has no more money to pay for card to have access to water. And so what we did was, as a sanitary measure, I would say, we support a program locally to have access to, for the family to have access to some prepaid card. So I think that collaboration is really important, and the current crisis show really is the huge impact of such way of working.
Yeah. No, I can totally understand that. So maybe Antonio, could I ask you a similar question, possibly? So how have you been supporting your entrepreneurs during this crisis, and what has been the key impact according to you, or some key learnings? Antonio.
Yes. Can you repeat me the question, please?
Yes, yes. So I would love to hear from you what the impact of the crisis has been on the work of your foundation. So how have you been working with this? What have been the impact on some of your entrepreneurs, and what has been your key learnings, some key insights? The other day you talked about this is the time of the doers. Can you elaborate a little bit more about that?
Yeah. Well, thank you for the question. I think that basically the element of crisis, or the crisis itself, has been working as an accelerator, basically. On the other side, it didn't change anything. I mean, in terms of our decision to go for execution and to make really things happen. So we had already a strategic plan fully aligned with the company strategy, which I think is an element very critical when you really want that the foundations really have some traction down to the market in order to make happen this triple impact. Has to be economically sustainable, profitable, and economically sustainable, and should be with social impact, and should get environment impact. So this triple impact, or this triple accounting, it's absolutely critical. And once you have this aligned, then it's a call for action. I mean, it's time for doers, and is basically the name of the game is execution. That's my viewpoint. The role of the crisis in all of this, well, honestly, I think that the only thing is that really has put all this ecosystem much more in the front page, and has been an accelerator. But we keep talk about collaboration, etc. But I think it's much more about firm alliances, and alliances that should define very clearly in chapter 1 what will be the outcome and what will be the responsible of each part of these alliances. And at the end of the day, pure accountability. I think that we need to put in all of this. This execution mentality, but is also the commitment for delivery, which I think that is something that we will see much more in the bottom lines of all the companies all around the world. This triple impact will end up with triple accountability, triple accounting, which it will be euros of economy, but will be number of employees of good quality, and it will be tons of CO2 not sent to the air, the environmental impact, etc., etc. No, I think that for me, the key learning is it's accelerating, but it doesn't change that much to what is the overall mentality. If we have clear from when you come and where we are going, so that's basically my understanding on this.
Thank you so much, António. I do have another question for you, actually, because I can imagine also in times of crisis, the collaboration between the company part and the foundation part might be strengthened, or maybe be a little bit under pressure. So for example, Valérie, Sanofi is one of the leading players in the vaccination scheme. Do you, as a foundation, then also influence the company in terms of where certain vaccines will be distributed to, for example, more vulnerable population? How is this collaboration functioning? How is it working? Could you tell me a little bit more about that, Valérie?
Really on the border regarding between the foundation and the business activity of the company, and the access to vaccine produced by the company is really the responsibility, the corporate social responsibility of the company. So what is our role in that? Of course, the foundation will take care of any humanitarian needs in the world. But I would say there is, as António said, there is no change to what we do day-to-day work. The vaccine world is a very well-organized world. There are already many initiatives in place. And today there is an initiative called COVAX, co-led by Gavi, Vaccine Alliance, with also the CEPI, which is the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovation, and also the WHO. And this initiative will guarantee the access and equitable access for every country. So, of course, there are some type of population that could face difficulties to have access to vaccines, like migrants, displaced population, nomads population. And we know already that the IOM, so the International Organization for Migration, try to put in place also some, I would say, some system to give access to the vaccine. So I would say we are looking what happened in the world regarding vaccine access. But I would say that right now it's more corporate social responsibility of the company than the place of a foundation like mine.
Thank you so much, Valérie. And maybe, António, could you also elaborate a little bit? Do you, as a foundation or with the different hats that you currently have, also have any influence on the company part and how you can help them transition towards a more sustainable business energy model? Do you have any role there? How is that working, that collaboration? António.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, yeah. I mean, I think that this it is once we have a strategy that it's aligned, or fully aligned, when you are complementing and giving more extension, more angle to the things that in your company you are doing. I don't think that for me the company and the foundation for the purpose is the same. I mean, the company has a purpose according with a certain strategy on energy transition and climate change, and we are aligning all our activity within this new strategy for the foundation to also to reinforce and to amplify the main purpose. So it's aligned with the company strategy, so reinforces the company strategy from one side, and on the other side I think that it's embedded with these new trends in terms of the social sector or foundational sector, which is a bit of is venture philanthropy from one side, is impact investing from the other side, but is also supporting through an accelerator for innovation and development of startups, and this is an entrepreneurs fund, supported also in terms of education on energy transition and climate change. We see a think tank with a sort of a cycle in terms of conferences with more than 24 in this year, supported by a network of universities that we are supporting a chair in these universities and things related with the energy transition, like sustainable mobility, decarbonization of the industry, circular economy, carbon capture, all of these. And below this, a very strong, huge educational platform through a strategy alliance we've done with the Microsoft Education, where we are present in more than 3,500 schools in Spain, teaching in a very altruistic manner the everything related to the energy transition and climate change. So this is another part of the strategy. Then we have the social area and volunteering, fully aligned also with energy transition and climate change. And then we have Repsol Social Impact, which is our social business branch within the foundation with this 50 million euros fund. And in 1 year and a half, we have put in place five investees, five investments. One is a huge transversal projects for reforestation in Spain, Portugal, and in Latin America, where we will try to forest thousands and thousands of hectares of new forests, biodiversity, circular economy, carbon trading for volunteering markets, etc. So this is one of the sides. This will produce euros of good economy, of green economy, and also employment. And will be the first two indicators that we will be looking at. Then we have investees in sustainable mobility, like for packaging in the centers of the cities, with a company with investing with more than 50 centers in Spain. Next year will be more than 100. And then we have two companies in circular economy, one in plastic for regeneration and adding value to the collection and transformation of plastics. Is one. Yesterday we launched a massive industrial companies in Spain called Recycling for All, which is basically to regenerate everything related with electronic and electric devices, and in the future to solar and solar panels, basically, which is also circular economy, and we are pushing very hard in this, and that means aligning with the strategy of the company, but also creating impact with this triple angle, which is economic, has to be economic. I have the view that it has to be business, otherwise it will not be social. So social business needs this right balance, and then we need to scale up. I think that most of this is we need a right strategy aligned, and I think that it has to be aligned, because if it is aligned, you will get the support to do that. And then when the relationship, the good balance between a foundation and the corporation, this is not rocket science. I mean, the thing is that in order we can get the attention, and in order we can get the support, in order we can get the good talent that comes to the foundation to really accelerate all of these programs, I think that we have to keep in mind always that this is about scaling up. So once you get the strategy in place, it is aligned. When you have the team and the talent in place, when you have the resources to invest, you have to be a little bit obsessive in terms of scaling up all of the things. Yeah. So this is strongly supported, for example, by a policy of alliances. Then you need to find good allies to making this purpose in terms of the scaling up all the purposes. Yeah.
Thank you, António. Wonderful. So I'm looking at the screen of Hopin at the same time, and I don't see any urgent burning questions from the audience. So with this, I would love to thank you for your wonderful insights, and thank the three of you very much. And I hope you will engage a bit longer also in the upcoming events, or the upcoming sessions, I mean. But for now, thank you so much for your time and your beautiful insight. So thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Welcome back again. I promised you to tell you a little bit more about the program, but actually I'm not the right person to do so, because after this opening session, we have a number of deep dives. And Karoline Heitmann, who is the Corporate Research Manager of EVPA, she can explain all about it, but not only about the topics itself, the session itself, but more about the underlying research. So maybe, therefore, I would love to give the floor to Karoline Heitmann.
Welcome to this short segment on the latest corporate social investing trends. But before I tell you more about the insights of our latest study, I would like to recap some developments we observed over the years. As you just heard, Repsol Foundation recently launched a new impact fund. But also IKEA set up IKEA Social Entrepreneurship next to IKEA Foundation. And Danone launched the Water Access Fund next to Danone ecosystem, and unknown communities. And we also heard from more and more practitioners that they were considering setting up new impact vehicles themselves. So we were wondering, why would a company and a corporate social investors set up multiple impact vehicles? And are the motives the same for everyone? And how does it relate to their social impact? The answer was we didn't know. And therefore, we conducted numerous interviews with companies and corporate social investors that had already set up multiple impact structures to understand more about this new trend. What we noticed is that there were several practical opportunities. For instance, by setting up a foundation next to an impact fund, they were able to tap into different financial instruments like grants, debt, or equity. It was also an opportunity for some to serve and support a new kind of social purpose organization, like social entrepreneurs with a revenue-generating business model. A third reason was also to pursue new impact or new alignment strategies. For instance, setting up an impact fund was an opportunity for them to pursue more business alignment. But what we also noticed is that these organizations are starting to find ways to work together towards a common impact vision. They're starting to think about what is a unique opportunity and value that each one of us can contribute towards the vision, and how can we use and leverage our unique strength to design more holistic impact approaches. Why? Because they recognize that in order to achieve their long-term vision, they need different actors to work together. They need non-profit organizations as well as for-profit organizations. They need commercial scaling capital as much as they need grant-making capital. And they need to build capacities and infrastructure as much as they need to foster innovation and create new business models. Thus, they look for opportunities to work together towards a common impact vision. How they do so? By establishing a collective corporate impact strategy. Through our research, we were able to unravel 3 different collective corporate impact strategies that companies with multiple corporate social investors can pursue. The so-called scope, scale, and depth strategy. Now let's take a look at what each of these strategies is about. Well, in some cases, the company and the CSIs want to broaden their impact on society because they know that there's not only one path or one approach towards achieving their vision. And looking left and right, they see that there are different societal challenges and opportunities related to their vision where they could really make a difference for society. So they set up multiple vehicles that each focus on a new challenge and a new beneficiary groups, and thereby helps to add to the diversity of their approach and to broaden the impact on different challenges, different beneficiary groups, and to broaden the impact on society at large. Now let's take a look at an example. Danone and its impact funds all support the vision that business can be a force for good. The company pursues this vision, for instance, by attaining the B Corp certification. Danone Ecosystem looks at the vision more from the perspective of vulnerable people around Danone's communities, around Danone's value chain, and therefore supports to develop or co-develop inclusive business solutions with local subsidiaries specifically for these beneficiary groups. And Danone Communities looks at the vision from yet another angle and really supports social businesses in low-income countries. So having multiple vehicles working in different contexts therefore allows them to have a broader impact on society. And in a way, the strategy is similar to rock climbing. While every climber has the same goal to reach the top, each climber designs their unique route based on their personal technique and style. And the same we can see here in the scope strategy. While all vehicles work towards the same vision, they all pursue slightly different approaches, which gives them the opportunity to broaden their impact. And doing so allows them also to pioneer innovations and solutions in various areas. For instance, around challenges that are closer related to the company and others that are not. And this is not only important to advance societal progress, but it can also be of value to the company as it can give them inspiration and input on new inclusive and sustainable business practices in those various areas. Second, the company that has multiple corporate social investors addressing different challenges also sends a strong message that the company is truly committed to their vision and that each societal cause is a priority for them. If you think about your vision, What kind of vehicles could you maybe set up that would help you to broaden your impact on society? What other challenges and beneficiary groups would you maybe like to address? Different corporate social investors and companies can also complement each other to scale a particular social solution. Because scaling solutions requires different actors along the continuum of capital to work together. And through grants, foundations are, for instance, ideally positioned to provide patient capital in the early stages. Yet, as the investees grow and enter pre-commercial stage, other impact structures like impact funds might be better positioned to provide them with a continuous funding. And once a proof of concept exists, then companies have the unique opportunity to go the last mile and help these organizations and solutions scale, for instance, through their value chain. So as in a relay race, the CSIs and the company, they will work in different stages to offer tailored financial and non-financial support throughout different development stages of the investee. An example here is the Rabobank, the Rabo Foundation, and the Rabo Roll Fund, because all of them work collectively towards supporting pharma cooperatives, yet all at different maturity stages. The Rabo Foundation supports early-stage pharma cooperatives in developing countries, and once these cooperatives become too mature for the foundation, the Rabo Roll Fund can provide them with the next step in financing before they can become eligible for normal financial loans from banks. So the strength of this strategy lies in building and enabling environments for social innovations or social purpose organizations to grow and scale. Multiple corporate social investors and the company can do so by offering the different financial instruments at different development stages. And at the same time, the strategy is also valuable to companies. By having corporate social investors help develop innovations and solutions up to a proof of concept, the company might more easily be able to recognize also the business relevance of such impact-driven solutions. So if you think about your vision again, do all promising solutions have such an enabling environment to grow and to reach the scaling phase? Or do you think that a new vehicle could be needed to help them scale their impact even further? The goal of the third strategy, the depth strategy, is to work together to deepen the impact on a particular communities. So here the organizations recognize that working alone may have only allowed them to scratch the surface. But working together and supporting the same communities gives them a unique opportunity to dive deeper and to each address different challenges the communities face. And by developing complementary solutions to the final beneficiaries, such as providing access to capacity, providing access to capital, and while also providing access to technologies, can help them to provide more holistic support to these communities. For example, the ING Bank, the ING Foundation, and the Debt Assistance Route all work towards fostering financial health in the Netherlands. And while the ING Bank can support its clients and send early warning signals to people at risk, the ING Foundation can really work in the social domain and can support funding by funding impact-driven solutions and social purpose organizations. At the same time, they also have the National Debt Assistance Route, which they set up as a cross-sector alliance between ING, other Dutch banks, municipalities, and other key stakeholders to offer an additional sector-wide support for people with problematic debt to maneuver out of the situation. So working together allows these organizations to provide more holistic support to people facing financial difficulties in the Netherlands. And addressing different root challenges and providing complementary solutions to the same communities allows these organizations to pave the way for more systemic change. As all vehicles here work towards accelerating the development of a particular geographical area, this strategy can also be interesting for a company as it can provide market insights, but also help to build pre-commercial markets, albeit in the long term. So if you think about your vision again, can you think of pressing challenges that people within a particular area still face? And could a new vehicle help you to catalyze more sustainable and long-term change for them? To summarize, we find that multiple corporate social investors and their related company can work together to broaden the impact on society, to scale the impact of a social solution, or to provide deeper impact on particular communities. And while these strategies are still a novelty, they have huge potential to allow corporate social investors and companies to move towards more holistic impact approaches that really foster the collaboration between different types of actors, different types of capital, and different impact strategies. And it allows them to build on and really leverage each other's strength towards more impact. So, what do you think? What would be your new era of collaboration? And does it entail one of these 3 collective corporate impact strategies? If the answer is yes, or if you're simply interested to engage in further conversation about these strategies, I invite you to join our upcoming deep dive sessions. We will have 3 sessions on each collective impact strategy with great speakers from each case study that I just mentioned, and a 4th session on how to set up new corporate social investors. So if you're interested to read more about the research, you can also download our new leaflet on collective corporate impact strategies now, either on the EVPA website or by clicking on the link that you can find in the chat function now. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to starting the discussion around collective corporate impact strategies with you. Thank you.
Dive in the research. So really helpful. And for everybody, you can now start to select your sessions, because at 10 o'clock we will start with the next part of our program. And to help you navigate HOPE in a little bit, on your left-hand side, you see a number of icons. So we're now at the stage, and we will get back here at 2 o'clock and again at 3 o'clock for the wrap-up, for the closing ceremony. So this is the stage element, and then the next moment at 10 o'clock we will start with the sessions. So you go 1 icon lower where you see sessions. When you click on it, you can then select the session you would like to join. In there, you will find a link to Zoom, because for the sessions we will start using Zoom. It's a bit more convenient for the type of session that we are hosting. And in the chat, you can then find a link. But there's also IT support there in case you're a little bit lost. And we also have the nice opportunity to have the expo. So if you are interested in some of the work of sponsors, have a peek there, and you can look around. And then at 2 o'clock, it would be wonderful to have you back here at the main stage, because then we will present to you the program of the afternoon, but also offer you an opportunity to have an open space session, to host an open space session. So if you are interested in hosting a topic that is not on the program, this is your opportunity. So Nicholas will share a link in the chat of this session, and you can click on it. And if you have a suggestion for a topic, you can put it there and then be back at 2 o'clock at the main stage, because then you can tell a bit more about your topic, the topic you would like to discuss. But for now, I hope you can have a little bit of a little break of like 10 minutes to grab a cup of coffee or tea, and then start selecting the deep dive session, so you can elaborate a little bit more on the topics that Karoline already shared with you, and then have a lovely day. So I'm really looking forward to meet you later on in the different sessions, and otherwise I will see you tomorrow again. Thank you so much for your attention, and have a lovely event.